That we welcome in co-host of First Things First, NBA insider from Fox Sports. It is Chris Broussard. How you doing, Chris?
I'm great. How's everybody doing?
Man, I'm bummed, CB. This is the second time you've been on, and both times you're driving, so we don't get to see your pretty face.
That's the first time I've ever heard that, so thank you, Jay.
All right, we got to start with the Cavaliers.
I wish I could. I mean, this is, I'm headed into the studio. I wish I could.
All right, no, I get it.
Visually as well, but
listen,
we'll make it work.
I get it. I'm fine, by the way. If Rob Parker calls in, I'm perfectly fine with a phone call. I don't need to see Rob.
Right. Hey, he's got a face for radio. That's
he does.
Sure.
He does. Tell him I said that. CB, the Cavs tanked their last game to sort of position themselves to play Orlando. First of all, your thoughts on that, and then your thoughts on how this series plays out.
I never liked tanking. And I'm a JB Bickerstaff fan, but I just don't like it. It comes off as cowardly, really. And what it does, to be honest, is you better win this series. Because if you tank to play a team and they are the lower seed, they are much younger than you, they are less talented than you, then you better beat them. And so this is a huge series for the Cavs. I don't think people are expecting them to win the East or anything like that, probably not even get to the conference finals. But if they lose to Orlando, it could be a tough offseason there with the Cavs.
Yeah, Chris, no doubt. I completely agree. I was so angry about what the Cavs did in that game. I hate that. Like, the Knicks went out there, and they played that game, and they were like,
Yep.
We don't care. We got to play Philly. Who cares? And I like that toughness and that attitude, and especially the way the Cavs played so poorly at the back end of the season. I hate that. I feel like it's a loser mentality, Chris.
Yeah, it's not good. Look, when the Lakers, they could have lost. There was a lot of talk that maybe they should lose so they don't get Denver in the first round. No, they said we're playing. If we have to play the defending champs in the first round, so be it. And I didn't like it. Look, and also I'm picking the Knicks over Philly because I don't think Joel Embiid is fully healthy. If Embiid was fully healthy, I would go with Philly. But he's playing on one leg. We saw that the other night. He didn't shoot well, wasn't efficient. So maybe that would have been a series the Cavs could have won. And then Milwaukee, we know what's going on with them. Do they even get past Indiana with Giannis and his health issues? So they should have tried to win and then see what happens, if they were the second seed.
Brew, I'm going to ask you this. Donovan Mitchell last couple years, even going back to the Jazz, really hasn't had really good playoff series. And you know how it is, especially in the NBA. Like, the people in the NBA and all the purists and the guys, they always want to go to the playoffs, and that's where you make your money at. That's where your legacy lies, in the playoffs. Where is Donovan Mitchell at? Nationally, in the way teams think about him as a player, and does he have to win this series and make some noise in the next series to kind of raise where his stock is in terms of as being a superstar in the league?
Well, he's very respected. There's no question about that. And you guys know, this summer there are going to be teams trying to trade for him. We'll see what the Cavs do. So I don't think people, look down on him in any way. And I also think this, obviously, you remember he had some great series with Utah. They never got to the finals, obviously, but I don't think they were good enough to get to the finals. I don't really put that on him. And he is a small player. There have been very few 6'1", 6'2" type players to lead teams to championships. There's one that's created a dynasty, and that's Steph Curry. And there's another one that led teams to multiple championships. That was Isaiah Thomas. Outside of that, it just doesn't happen. And so I don't blame you. Need your best player, if he's 6'1" or 6'2", it's going to be tough for you to win championships, even in today's more perimeter-oriented NBA. So I don't hold that against Donovan. Now, that said, yeah, the level of player he is, he's the best player in this series. And you do have a good supporting cast, obviously. So if they don't win this series, he will take a hit as well. We know he hasn't been as good since he's been back from the injury. So that's maybe an excuse/explanation if they lose. But he'll take some hits if he doesn't at least get past Orlando.
Chris, how does this series play out?
Look, I'm a little concerned for the Cavs. My heart is with them, but last year we saw it was embarrassing the way they just got pushed around and manhandled by a tougher Knicks team that was tougher mentally and physically. And that's what this Orlando team is kind of like. We don't know about their mental toughness yet. We'll see. But physically, they are a tough team. They don't shoot the three a lot. They don't shoot it particularly well. What they do is their defense is tenacious. They get physical with you. They crash the glass. They score inside. And is Cleveland going to be able to handle that? We know when they've got the two bigs on the floor, the Cavs, their offense struggles a bit. But you may need those two bigs, Mobley and Allen, to handle Orlando inside and play with their toughness. So I think Cleveland are talented, but they're going to have to be a lot tougher than they have been in the past to beat this Orlando team.
Chris, who's the, for the casual fan, who's the guy on the Magic? We know Banchero, but who's the guy kind of off the radar maybe for the casual fan that's really important to the Magic's success?
Well, I think Jalen Suggs. I mean, he's been a great defensive player this year, and he's going to spend a lot of time on Mitchell. Great players you usually don't stop. But if he can make Mitchell really inefficient and make it hard for him, then that's obviously the Cavs need Mitchell to play well. And so I think that's a huge part of this series. He's an X factor.
Brew, when you look at the entire Eastern Conference and getting to possibly, we talk about the Cavs moving to the next round, does anybody have a shot against Boston?
I don't think so. In fact, this might sound extreme, and I will leave a little room for nuance. If Giannis gets fully healthy and the Bucks click, or if Embiid starts to play like he's fully healthy and like he did early in the season before he got injured, then I'll give some room for nuance there. But if as it stands right now, with Embiid banged up, with Giannis out, with Jimmy Butler out, if the Boston Celtics don't get to the finals, I think Joe Mazzulla's job should be in jeopardy. And really, you need to move on. Because he didn't take over a 40-win team. He took over a team that had been to the finals. And this would be the second year. The path wasn't that hard last year once Milwaukee got eliminated, right? You're supposed to beat Miami. Miami was an 8 seed, and they beat Boston last year. So if they can't get to the finals this year with all these injuries in the East, then I think they need to look at a new coach. Ime Udoka, we know he was a very good. Their finesse team, in my opinion, if they don't, I'm not saying they're finals. The team from the West will beat them. If they had to get to the finals, I think to save Mazzulla's job.
Yeah, I think that's a given.
And they should them to. So I think they will.
Yeah, I mean, because Chris,
I think it's Boston, and I got Denver.
I don't know that Boston's going to cakewalk to the championship. I think it'll be a cakewalk for them to the NBA Finals, because it seems like the perfect storm. You've got Giannis is dinged in Milwaukee. Obviously, Embiid isn't the same in Philly. Cleveland, who looked like they could have been a contender from January 1st to the first week of February, they've pulled a Philadelphia Eagles, Brew. They went from a team that was playing the best basketball out of anyone in the league to a team that can't play 500 ball. How do you explain? Obviously, the injuries had something to do with it, but they were trying to mix and match with different combinations, and they just didn't find an answer.
That's a great, Jay, because you're right. I thought about the Eagles comparison, but it is very similar. We were rolling. The ball was moving, right? I mean, it was moving. Everybody was getting involved. Obviously, Mitchell was playing at a high level. and that has kind of ceased. They were
Right.
shooting a lot of threes, hitting a lot of threes, you know, and they were having fun clearly playing their game. They still defend, which is a plus, but offensively they've kind of been stagnant, and they really they got we know their top 4 players, and they all are very good individually, but they haven't clicked fully when they're all together. Because remember, when they were playing well, they weren't fully healthy. And now they just still haven't found a way to get Garland and Mitchell and Mobley and Allen all to play great basketball together. And that's really been their challenge.
Chris, Darius Garland's had for him a terrible season. Well, if the Cavs wanted to trade, let's say in a crazy world that Donovan Mitchell did re-sign here in Cleveland, and the Cavs in turn decided to trade Darius Garland, does he have a lot of trade value or no?
No, I think there's a market, because I think people would look at it like he just couldn't fit with Mitchell.
Right.
You know, like they both like the ball in their hands and stuff like that. So I do think there's a market. I'm not saying he's not viewed as a superstar, of course. But, yeah, a lot of teams that are in the market for a point guard, Garland can play. And so I do think there would be a market there for him.
Chris, before we let you go, I got to know, I know what it was like on the air, but off the air, how insufferable was Nick Wright when the Chiefs won yet another Super Bowl?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it was bad on the air. You saw it, and
Yep.
It was 100 times worse off the air. And you guys know how it is. You go at each other, you bust each other's chops.
Yep.
And I'm sitting here like, it's just, the Chiefs are just too good. Like, it's hard to fight against him
Yep.
when his hometown team just happens to be so good.
Yeah.
I think they've got a great chance this year of doing what no one in NFL history has done, which is win 3 straight Super Bowls, because Mahomes is just that guy.
Yeah, I agree
it's
with
ridiculous.
that. Chris, I've got a comparison for you. Can you imagine dealing with Bayless if the Cowboys ever won a Super Bowl?
Oh, my God. Well, the good thing, Jay, is we don't have to worry about that.
That's right.
The Cowboys aren't winning anytime soon.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. You're absolutely right.
Right.
Chris, it's always great to talk to you, my friend. Next time we'll have to make sure you're not driving your car so we can actually see you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Have a good weekend.
All right.
Yep.